Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of She Talks Business. This has been a really interesting season for me. I love the rich conversations that I've been having with clients of mine about their businesses and their journey and their experiences. It's just such a gift to hear some of the things that they have shared with me. I hope that you are enjoying each of these episodes. I've received quite a few emails when people are listening to let me know things that really resonated with them and things that they needed to hear. So I really appreciate that. So today I thought what I would do is I would share what I'm going to call some patterns for success that I have observed both in clients that I work with, but also in my network and with the colleagues that I hang out with. So I was recently at an event with Alan Weiss called Beyond Thought Leadership. And it was a really great event that Alan pulled together. And I have a hair that's sticking in my face. Sorry, you don't need to know that. But anyways, if you're watching a video of this, you might know that. But if you're listening to the audio, you can't see that. So I digress. Anyways, I'm at this event called Beyond Thought Leadership. And what Alan did is he brought together 6 people from his community from, multiple countries around the world. And he interviewed them and asked them questions about their business and their success. And then he let the attendees or participants ask questions of these people as well. And it was really, really insightful for me to look at the patterns that showed up in terms of why people are successful. When I am in community with Alan always refers to us as being, the 1%ers. 1% of people in the world have been able to accomplish some of the things that we do. And while I don't always feel like I'm a 1%er, I do know statistically that less than 2% of women operate businesses that generate over $1 million a year in sales. So I do know I fall into a rare category, but I don't think of myself as an exception. I think of myself as pretty average. But what I like to do is I like to look at people that do remarkable things and look at the patterns that I see, because I think that those are patterns that you and I can emulate to make ourselves even more successful. So this week, what I'd like to share with you are some of the patterns, and I've identified 10 of them that I have noticed with some of my esteemed colleagues and some of my most successful clients that I think that you can take and you can emulate and you can use to create success in your own life and business. So let's get started. Pattern number 1, I see this everywhere I go with the most successful people that I work with and with my most successful colleagues and friends. Avid learners. These people have an unstoppable thirst for knowledge and information. They are innately curious. They want to learn. They read books. They attend workshops. They do things to expand their knowledge all the time. There's a very small percentage of people that read a book a year right now in the United States, let alone a book a week or a book a month. These are people that are invested in their learning. They see it as their duty to double down and learn more in order to be able to serve their clients. And I think that's a really important distinction. Where are you investing time in learning? Where are you investing time in expanding your knowledge so that you can be of greater service and greater value to those people that you serve? And sometimes I think we get tripped up about what we should be learning. Yes, it's great for you to learn new things about the areas that you have subject matter expertise in, but I want to challenge you to make a list of 3 to 4 things that you don't really know a lot about that you'd like to learn more about over the course of the next year, and go find some books or blogs or podcasts and immerse yourself in learning something new. You will be amazed when you start to learn new things. And I just noticed my microphone is like way over there. When you start to learn new things, you will be able to apply some of that new learning to things you already know. So keep up the quest for learning. It really, really, really matters. And it is critical on your path to success. Number 2, they're big dreamers. They have big goals and visions for their business, and they don't exactly know how to get there, but it doesn't stop them from dreaming big. I hear them say things like, I want to make a difference for humanity. I want to leave the world a better place. I want to impact people's lives. I want to create generational wealth. I want to become mortgage free. I want to have $1 million in the bank. They dream big. They set really, really, really big goals. And even though they don't know how to get there, it doesn't stop them from thinking big. The problem with thinking small is most of us never actually exert the full amount of energy that we need to reach our goals. So if your goals are small, you're probably not going to reach your goals that are small. You're probably going to reach 80 to 90% of what you set out to achieve. So if you're only ever going to reach 80 to 90% of what you set out to achieve, why not set the bar a little bit higher and set out to achieve 80, 90 to 90% of a much bigger vision? The most successful people that I know are dreaming big, but they're not attached to the time-bound outcome. So they're looking into the future. They're looking way out into the future, and they're really clear about their identity of who they aspire to be in conjunction with those goals. So number 2, be a big dreamer. Learn. If you don't know how to dream, go learn how to dream. Go read some stuff on how to dream big, how to think big, how to be strategic, or go sit someplace quietly and just really ask your heart, what is it that you aspire to do? Why are you here on this planet at this time? What are you meant to do? And don't compare your big dreams with somebody else's big dreams, because, your big dreams are not going to be the same as, say, a Jeff Bezos. So don't compare. Your big dream is your big dream, and that is big enough. But don't set the goal low because you're afraid you won't meet the goal. Allow yourself, have what Alan Weiss would say to me, have the courage of your talent. Have the courage to dream bigger than you're dreaming right now. You may very well surprise yourself, especially if you do the 10 things that I'm talking about on this list. Number 3, these individuals invest in themselves regularly. All right. They show up and they spend money and they take risks. They hire coaches, they hire mentors, they hire advisors, they pay to go to events, they pay to further their education, they invest in their business. Dr. Wendy Rice, she was on our show a few weeks ago. She went from paying rent to owning 2 office buildings. She wasn't afraid to invest in her business in ways like that. And the most successful people that I know understand that in order to get the things that you want in life, you have to invest to get there. It's not the other way. So a lot of people, I hear people say to me all the time, well, someday when my business is bigger, I'm going to work with you, Lisa. Well, what is it? Chicken or egg? If you worked with me now, maybe your business would be bigger sooner. So challenge yourself around your investing in you thinking. If you are the leader in your business, the best investment you can make is you, because you're the leader in your business. So the more you invest in your own growth and development, the more you do to set you up for success, the more successful your business will ultimately become. The most successful people I know invest in themselves regularly, and they don't shy away from making big investments. To put it into perspective, I sat in a room with 11 people who invested anywhere from $15,000 to $19,000 for a 2.5-day event. That's investing pretty big in yourself. So, when you think about investing, I don't know, $3,000 for a year in the strategy lab, that's pretty small in comparison to investing, $35,000 to $50,000 a year to work with me privately. So think about the steps that you can take today that are bigger than what you're comfortable with, but then be all in on doing the work so that you can make a really, really good return on the investment that you make. Every single time I go to one of these big events, I look at the event and I say, okay, how can I use this to improve my business, to improve myself, to create new offerings, to emulate what I've seen Alan do in my own business? How can I use this to share ideas with some of my clients, which then ultimately turn into revenue generating ideas for me because they want to work with me on the ideas? So always be thinking about connecting the dots between where you invest and how you get the ROI back from that investment. When I was at Ali Brown's event, Iconic, last month, I had a conversation with a woman there, and I gave her some advice and things that she could do in her business. I was really challenging her to step up and charge higher fees and do things differently in her business. And this woman is remarkable. The very next day, on a conversation with a potential client, she took the advice that I gave her over dinner and applied it and sent me a message and said, OMG, it worked. And I just closed a really big piece of business because I did what you said to do. So don't look at investing as a cost. Look at it as something you're doing that's going to help you to generate a return. But you wouldn't go to a restaurant and buy the most expensive Kobe steak they have on the menu if you are a vegetarian, because you're not going to eat it. That would be wasteful. So don't invest in yourself if you're not planning to turn that investment into a return. You have to be willing to do, which is actually number 4, take action. The most successful people I know take a lot of action, not a little bit of action. They're consistent in their action taking. They are consistent in showing up to do the work. They are consistent in their creation of content. They are consistent in reaching out to clients. They are consistent in business development. They are consistently doing the things that they know work to make their business successful. They spend less time scrolling on social media and more time doing. They're constantly in a state of action. Whereas people who are less successful let self-doubt create inertia, and then they don't move forward. And a lot of times people get stuck in that state of self-doubt and I'm not sure what to do, stuck in the weeds, overwhelmed, because they don't have a coach or a mentor that they've invested in that can actually show them the next logical step to take. So if you really want to be successful, you can't stay in the same spot. You have got to continue to move forward. Moving forward allows you to create the momentum that you need in order for your business to grow and for you to grow as an individual. So while, number 3 is invest in yourself, and that's really important, it's only going to be effective if you're willing to take action based on the investments that you make. So ask yourself, where are you spending your time? We all get 24 hours in a day. Where are you spending your time? Are you spending your time watching Yellowstone? Are you spending your time surfing Netflix? Or are you spending your time actually thinking about how to change your situation, how to build a stronger business, how to build a more thoughtful, resilient, and strategic entrepreneur? The only thing that will differentiate you from someone else who is more successful than you is the action that they took that you didn't take. And I know that not all action yields results. Sometimes you're going to take action and things aren't going to turn out the way you wanted, but you still took action and you can learn from that action and you can act again. You've got to stay moving forward if you really want change in your life and in your business. Number 5, the most successful people I know do this exceptionally well. They know how to manage fear. All right. They're courageous. Courage does not mean absence of fear. Courage means acting in spite of your fear. The most successful people I know are willing to say, I feel really uncomfortable with this, but I'm going to do it. Or, oh, that makes me feel really, really, really like uncomfortable and I'm not sure I can do it, but I'm going to try. They have learned how to manage their fear. They're not letting fear drive the bus. They're still in control of the bus and they're looking at their fear through the lens of what can I do? How can I do this? What support do I need to take the first step? How can I break this down in my mind so that it's less scary? But they don't avoid doing hard things because they are afraid. They recognize that fear is a normal part of being in business every single day, and they step up over and over and over again to do the things that are scary. Sometimes scary things are raising your prices, firing an employee, letting a client go, or doing a video when you've never done video live before. It doesn't matter what it is. It's about recognizing, oh, I'm resisting this because I'm afraid. So how can I do it anyways? Because the most successful people in life don't let fear stop them. They know how to manage fear. There's a difference in the fear that you feel around doing things like this in your business than the fear you feel if you're alone at night in a dark alley and you see a guy coming at you with a knife. Like, that's a different kind of fear, right? you're not putting yourself into ridiculously dangerous situations. These are things that you can do. You just need to build your confidence muscle. And the only way you build your confidence muscle is by demonstrating courage. And courage is taking action even when things feel scary. So that is number 5. Number 6, build a strong network. You need a network. There's an old cliche, your network is your net worth. Well, I kind of believe that, because when you build great relationships with people in your network, whether they're with your clients, whether they're with your peers, whether they're with colleagues, the stronger the network you build, the more effective your life and business is going to be, because you get to tap into the brilliance of other people. You get to meet other people because of the people in your network. You have other people talking about you because of the strength of your network. You have people in your network that are supporting you. I still remember Tanya Dalton, reaching out to me when Alan and I's book was coming out and saying, what can I do to help you? That's the power of a network, when people are tapping on you on the shoulder and saying, how can I help you? But that doesn't happen unless you invest in your network. So what are you doing to show up and build your network? What are you doing to nurture relationships in your network, give to people in your network, and really be supportive of your network? You shouldn't just look at your network as, how many LinkedIn connections do I have? Because you probably don't know half those people. You probably just said yes to the friend request. But look at the people you really know and ask yourself, where am I investing time every day or every week in my network to ensure that my relationships are solid? Your relationships will help you and serve you so well in business, but relationships they don't happen by accident. They happen by design. You have to invest in relationships and show up and pay attention to people, because there are so many distractions in this world. If you don't show up and invest in your relationships, somebody else is showing up and investing in the relationships with those people, and you actually fall to the bottom of the totem pole because you're out of sight and out of mind. So think about your relationships and think about how you can really leverage them in your life and in your business. It is a critical component that successful people rely on and take very, very, very seriously. All right. We're up to number 7. So number 1, avid learner. Number 2, big dreamer. Number 3, invest in self. Number 4, take action. Number 5, manage fear. Number 6, strong network. And number 7, care about people. Care about people. It's so important. Do you care about your customers? Do you care about the people on your team? Do you care about the people that consume the content, the marketing that you create? You really do need to care about people, because if you're just chasing money, people know that. You have to care about the people that you serve in your business. You have to care about the people that show up to help you run your business. When you put effort into caring about others, you can really affirm much stronger relationships with them. No one wants to do business with someone that doesn't care. And I know that it sounds like a really simple thing, but when I hang around successful people and I coach my clients, the most successful people are asking me questions about their customers because they want to do better work to be in service. When I hang around people in my network, my colleagues, they say things like, I want to impact humanity. I want to help people be better. I want to help people reach their dreams. They really, really care. And so ask yourself, is the dream that you have set for yourself one that is only for you? Or in the words of Tara Trent, the last dream should really be a dream that makes a difference for your community at large, not just about you. So it's great to have dreams that are about you, but how is that dream in service of others? The dream cannot be in service of others unless you care about people. Go back and listen to that episode where I talked to Tara Trent. If you haven't read her book, The Awakened Woman, it's a fantastic book. But at the root of dreaming big, there needs to be something in it that is bigger than you, that impacts other people. And the foundation of making an impact for other people is to actually care about them. All right. Number 8, have a generous spirit. Have a generous spirit. Be generous in what you do. The most successful people I know pick up the tab when they're out for dinner with someone else. They send people gifts. They share information regularly. They do things that are generous in spirit, not just generous in money. While donating to somebody's GoFundMe or fundraising events is something that they do on a regular basis, it's not just about being generous with money. It's also being generous about what you know and who you know. Generosity could be writing a review for my podcast. All right. That could be generosity. That's a generous spirit saying, hey, I want to help Lisa out here. I'm going to write a review for her podcast, or writing a review for the small business that you support in your community. Those are things that are generous to do. It doesn't cost money, but it's generous. Paying somebody a really nice compliment is a generous thing to do. So ask yourself, where are you being generous in spirit? And you will find that the more generous you are, the more that life rewards you. I believe in the law of reciprocity. The more you show up and do things for others, the more others show up and do things for you. So keep a generous heart and generous spirit at the forefront. Don't get into a scarcity or a poverty mentality. Be generous in how you show up and interact with other people. The next thing that they do is they're highly visible creators. So my most successful clients and the people that I know are creating content on a regular basis, whether it's videos, podcasts, blogs, books. They are shipping. They're, as Seth Godin would say, they're putting things out into the world on a regular basis, and they are consistently doing it. We have not missed a week on this podcast since we started. We are getting close to episode 100, which is a major milestone, because somebody told me a long time ago that Seth Godin says no to every podcast interview if they haven't done at least 100 episodes, because most people don't make it to 100. So be a visible creator and stay in it for the long run. People can't find you. The old saying, they need to know, like, and trust you. Well, they can't even know who you are and like what you do if you don't create on a regular basis that allows them to make that decision. So the most successful people I know are not minor creators, they're major creators. They're really committed to the craft of creating, and they do so on a regular and religious basis. So if you want to be successful, creating content in whatever format works for you is really important. And I'm sorry to tell you, once a month doesn't cut it. And once a week on social media doesn't cut it. If you want to be visible, you need to show up regularly, not once in a blue moon. And then the last thing that I see the most successful people I know do, both my clients and people in my network, is they're willing to work through hard stuff. They're willing to do what it takes to find solutions to the problems that they have. And they're willing to talk about where things have gone sideways in their business. They are not people that are just sharing their Pinterest perfect moments. There are people that are willing to say, I haven't generated revenue in my business for 3 months, and this is what I did to turn things around. Or I made a bad hiring decision, and this is what I did. Or I, underpriced something or had a problem with a client, and this is what I did. They are willing to work through hard things. They don't put their head in the sand and avoid hard things. A lot of times, they are investing in themselves, and they'll get help from somebody when they need it to work through hard things, but they're not abdicating responsibility or avoiding doing hard things. Running a business isn't easy every single day. You run into challenges on the regular. So if you think running a business means that your business operates perfectly and that's what success is, you're delusional. Because the bigger your business gets, the more opportunity there are for challenges and problems. And so your capacity to do hard things is what is going to help you get to the next level or not. And so there you have it, folks. Those are 10 things that I have seen in my coaching career that the most successful people do. And I hope that they serve you in some way. I would love to hear which of these 10 things was a surprise to you. I'd love to hear on a scale of 1 to 10, how many of these 10 are you doing? We share this podcast on social media. It's on my website, and it's on pretty much every, I think, podcast platform you can get. And so if this episode was valuable to you, I would encourage you to embrace number 8, have a generous spirit, and interact with me and tell me what you thought of this episode. Thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day wherever you are listening. I'd be really curious to know, are you listening to this outside for a walk? Are you listening to this in your car? Or are you like, my client, Jennifer McClanahan, and you're listening to it Monday night when you're making dinner? I'm curious. When do you listen to She Talks Business? Bye for now.